හැමෝටම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක්. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ පැතුම් හරියටම දෙකට good news radio වඩන් ගනිද්දි කියන්න නැති අද මොනවාද විශේෂත්වයක් තියෙන්නේ. අයි මට එන්න පොඩක් පරක්කුනේ. මම දන්නවා පැතුම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අද දවසේ එක කියලා තමයි ආරම්භ කරේ good news radio. ඉතින් හරියටම අපිට 25යි කියන්නේ ගුණජය සතුට පදනමට එහෙම නැත්නම් foundation of goodness ආයතනයේට හරියටම වසර 25ක් සැපරෙන මේ වර්ෂයේදී අද තමයි අපි එහි සමාරම්භක දිනයේ විදිහට අපට වසර 25ක කාලයක් තුළ මේ සමාජ සේවා මෙහෙවරට අත්වල් බඳගත් සියලුම දෙනා ඒක රාශී කරගෙන අපි අනුග්‍රහක බවතුන් හැමෝම එක්ක අද දවස ඉතාමත්ම සාර්ථකව සාමකාමීව සීනිගම ප්‍රධාන මෙහෙයුම් මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ සිට අප ගෙවුවා. ඉතින් ඒ දවසේ උදෑසන සිට මේ දක්වා ඉතාමත් සුන්දර විදිහට ඒ සියලුම වැඩසටහන් ගලාගෙන ගියා. වසර 25ක් අඛණ්ඩව වසර 25ක් නැවත වරක් මම කියන්නම් අඛණ්ඩව අංශ 30කට වැඩි සංඛ්‍යාවක් ඔස්සේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ මේ වන විට මධ්‍යස්ථාන 20ක් කරා යමින් මේ වර්ෂයේ නිමාවේදී අපේ නිර්මාතෘතුමාම කියයි මධ්‍යස්ථාන 25ක් අපට ළඟා කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ සතුට එක්ක සූදානම් වෙනවා good news radio good volunteer segment එක නෙමෙයි මේක good volunteer segment එකට එහා ගිහිපු segment එකක්. මොකද volunteer මම හිතන්නේ ගුණජය සතුට පදනමේ පළමු වෙන ස්වේච්ඡා නිලධාරියා තමයි අද ඇවිත් ඉන්නේ good news radio මාදරියට. ඉතින් කුෂල් ගුණසේකර මහත්මයා ඉන්නෝ බලාගෙන මට එතුමා තමයි හරියටම මේ කාර්යය නිර්මාතෘතුමා විදිහට මොහු ගැන හඳුන්වන්නට දන්නේ. අද ඔබතුමාට ඉතාමත්ම සතුටුදායක දිනයක්. උදෑසන සිටම මම එක මූණෙන් දැක්ක අපි බලාගෙන අපි වින්දා එක වසර 25ක් වෙද්දි මුලින්ම අපි කියලිමු දැනෙන සතුට කොහොමද?
විශ්මී අසෙත් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන පළවෙනියම
ඔබතුමාටත් එසේම වේවා.
මම හිතන්නේ අද ඇත්තටම වෙනස් විදියකට දකින සෙනසුරාදාක්. මොකද පළවෙනිව මම හිතන්නේ 25 වෙනි අවුරුද්දක් සමරන මේ අවස්ථාවේදී විශේෂ වැඩසටහනක් තමයි අපි ඇත්තටම ව්‍යාප්ත කරේ. ඉතින් අර අවුරුදු 25ක් ලැබුව අවස්ථාවකදී මම හිතන්නේ අපේ භාරකාර මණ්ඩලයේ හිටපු සියලු දෙනාමත් විශේෂයෙන්ම මුත්තයි මුරලිදරන් මැතිතුමා, ඒතකොට අශාන් මල්ලසේකර මැතිතුමා, රසලාන ඒ වගේම ડોક્ટર කුෂ්වින් වැනි සියලු දෙනාම ගෙනල්ලා එතකොට සාර්ථකත්වයක් ලැබපු ගොඩාක් පිරිසක් ඇවිල්ලා තිබුණා ප්‍රතිලාභීන් හැටියට. ඉතින් ඒ විදියට ඇත්තටම මේ වැඩසටහනක් යොමු කියන්නේ හරියටම කියන්නේ අපි එක විදියකට යම් ආකාරයකට මෙනෙහි කරනකොට මේ දැක්කේ මේ විශේෂයෙන්ම අවුරුදු 25ක් ඇතුළත අපි ලක්ෂ 10කට වඩා අධික සංඛ්‍යාවකගේ ජීවිතය අපි මම හිතන්නේ ගොඩනගලා තිබෙනවා. ඔව් ඉතින් ඒක නිසා ඒ සතුට දරා ගැනීමට ඉතින් ඉතාමත් පුදුම උපේක්ෂා සහගතව බලන්න වෙනවා. ඒත් නමුත් අපි මම හිතන්නේ අපේ ගමන දිහා බලනකොට අපි සුනාමි ව්‍යාසනයෙන් සොන්බුන් වෙලා පහතරම් වැටලා නැගිට ආයතනයක් හැටියට ඒ පසුබැස්ම ආශිර්වාදයක් කරගෙන ඉදිරියට යන්න පුළුවන් වුණා කියන එක තමයි මම දකින්නේ. ඒනවාට එහෙම කරගන්න මට පුළුවන් වුණේ දැවැන්ත ස්වේච්ඡාවෙන්ම ගොඩක් වැඩ කරන ස්ථානයක මට මෙවැනි කියන්නේ අතහිත දීමෙන් සහයෝගයක් දීමෙන් කටයුතු කරලා තියෙන නිසා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. වෙන්නත් ඕනේ. මොකද මටත් හැම එකම තනියම කරගෙන යන්න බෑ. නමුත් මම දකින්නේ අවුරුදු 1999 ඉඳලා මම පටන් ගත්තේ මේ වැඩසටහන ඒ කියන්නේ නගරබද ග්‍රාමීය ප්‍රදේශවල තියෙන පරතරය අඩු කරන්න තමයි ඇත්තටම මම මේ මූලිකත්වය ගත්තේ. ප්‍රමුඛත්වය දුන්නේ. මොකද මම දැක්කනේ හැමදාම එච්චර දක්ෂ හැකියාවක් නැති අතිවිශිෂ්ට තුවා දරුවන් සහ යෞවන පරපුරද ඒ වගේම කාන්තාවන්ද මේ ගම්වල සිටිනවා. නමුත් අවස්ථාවක් නැහැ, පාසුකම් නැහැ. ඒ නිසා මම හිතන්නේ මං ආවේ මගේ ගමයි අල්ලපු ගම් දෙකයි කොහොම හරි ගොඩ ගන්න ඕන කියන අදිෂ්ඨානය. නමුත් සුනාමි ව්‍යාසනයට පස්සේ අවසනාවන්ත විදියකට ඒක සිද්ධ වුණත් අපි අද ගම් 900ක නියෝජනය වෙනවා. මධ්‍යස්ථාන 22ක් තියෙනවා ලංකාව වටේ. ඒ කියන්නේ විශිෂ්ටපූර්ණ මධ්‍යස්ථාන ක්‍රීඩා සංකීර්ණත් එක්ක. මම දන්නේ අද තහවුරු වුණා අපිට 25කට විතර යන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ අවුරුදු 25ක් ඇතුළත 25ක් මධ්‍යස්ථාන ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඉතින් හරි පුදුමයි. මොකද අපි අවසනාවන්ත විදියට පහළ දාලා අයිමත් නැගිටින්න පුළුවන්ද කියන එක ප්‍රහේලිකාවක් වෙලා ඒත් අපි කොහොම හරි මේකට බය නැතුව මුහුණ දෙනවා. මේ වෙනස් වීම අපි පිළිගන්න ඕනේ. මේක තමයි යථාර්ථය කියලා දැනගෙන තමයි මේ ගමන පටන් ගත්තේ. එතනින් තමයි ඇත්තටම මෙවැනි යෝධ පල ශක්තියක් ලැබුණේ. විශේෂයෙන්ම ගෝලීය ආයතන, එතකොට විවිධ පුද්ගලයන්, මහත්තුරුන් මහත්මීන්, එතකොට ස්වේච්ඡාවෙන් වැඩ කරන්න ආපු දැන් අපි බැලුවම අවුරුදු 25ක් ඇතුළත 2000ක් විතර ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා අපිට වැඩ ගන්න. මම ආසයි පස්සේ අපේ තියෙනවා වාර්තාවක් අද යොමු කරලා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක අර ස්කෝර් බෝඩ් එකක් වගේ. මම හිතන්නේ අපි අර ඩිජිටල් ස්මාර්ට් බෝඩ් එකේ දාලා පෙන්නවා. ඒ අපි ඇත්තටම කී දෙනෙක්ට කොයි ආකාර වලින්ද සේවය කරලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා. මම හිතන්නේ ඒක ඔයාලා ළඟ තිබුණාද දන්නේ නැහැ. මම ස්ක්‍රීන්ෂොට් එකක් ගත්තා දන්නේ නැහැ. මම දන්නේ මගේ ළඟ මම හිතන්නේ ඇති.
අපි ස්මාර්ට් බෝඩ් එකට
මගේ ළඟ තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මම ඒකේ ඇත්තට මේකත් කියවන්න ඕනේ අද. නමුත් ඒක කියවන්න වෙන්නේ ටිකක් පස්සේ. මොකද මම හිතන්නේ නැත්තම් දැම්මම කියන්න පුළුවන් වෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. නැත්තම් මොකද්ද කියන්නේ? ඔව් නැත්නම් අපි පස්සේ මේ ගැන කතා කරමු.
අපි ලබන සතියේ විස්තරات එක්කම කතා කරමු.
මොකද අපි ගත්තොත් කියමු ගෙවල්ම ගත්තොත් මේ සුනාමි ව්‍යාසනයෙන් පස්සේ අලුත් සහ අලුත් වැඩියා කරපු ගෙවල් 1067ක් ප්‍රමාණයක් අපිට ඇත්තටම ඉදි කරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ අවුරුදු දෙකමාර කාලයක ඇතුළත ඉතින් ගම් 25ක් ආවරණය කළා. ඒක පැත්තක්. ඊට පස්සේ මම හිතන්නේ 20ක් විතර තියෙනවා විවිධ පැති වලට අපි යොමු වෙලා අපිට මනුස්සකම පදනම් කරගෙන පිරිසිදු චේතනාවෙන්, අනුකම්පාවෙන්, දයාවෙන් සියලුම ග්‍රාමීය ජනතාවට අතහිත දීම ගැන ඉතින් අමුතුවෙන් සතුටු වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මිනිස්සෙක් හැටියට ජීවිතය ලබාගෙන මනුස්සකම රැකගෙන සේවය කරපු එක මට ඉතාමත් අගය කර යුතු දැනීමක් හැටියට තමයි මට හිතෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මමත් එක සේවය කරපු කාර්ය මණ්ඩලයටත් මම ඒ වගේම අනුග්‍රහයක් දුන්න, දායකත්වයේ දුන්න ගුණගරුකව හිතනකොට ඒ සියලු දෙනාටම මම සුවපත් වේවා, දුක් වෙත්වා, නිරෝගී වෙත්වා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
ඉතින් ඔන්නෝමයි ගුණෙන් ලැබෙන ජයත් එක්ක සතුටත් අරගෙන අපි වසර 25ක් මේ විදිහට සමාජයට මෙහෙවරක්, සමාජ මෙහෙවර අතිදැවැන්ත විදිහට කරගෙන යන්නේ. ඒ අතිදැවැන්ත සමාජ මෙහෙවරේ අද පොඩ්ඩක් මට කතා කරගන්නත් අමාරුයි නම් පෙරේදී නම් කමාන් කරලා ඒ අතිදැවැන්ත මෙහෙවරේ මූලික ආරම්භක සමාජිකෙක් තමයි අද මැදිරියට ඇවිත් ඉන්නේ. අපි බලමු කවුද මේ ඇවිත් ඉන්නේ. මම සිංහලෙන් ආයිබෝවන් කියලා පිළිගන්න කැමතියි. ඔබ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ආයිබෝවන් කියන වචනේ හොඳින් දන්නවද? ආයිබෝවන්. say ආයිබෝවන්.
ආයිබෝවන්.
Okay.
ඔබතුමාට අවස්ථාව තියෙනවා ඉදිරියට කතා බහව.
Okay, so thank you very much, Vishmi. Many blessings to you for conducting the Good News Radio on every Saturday. But I know today was a hard-pressed day for us. Yet we couldn't wait without having a chat with this amazing personality, Mr. Nick Ryder. He is here again for the 25th anniversary. Well, his story is very different. He is one of those first volunteers to be here when the tsunami struck. We were both 20 years younger. And then, sorry, keep reminding this, but just that to highlight how far we have come on this journey. And since then, I think, so he was one of those first to come, and from that time he never looked back. And from 2005 actually, when he arrived, he kept extending his departure, and he was here for about one year. And then during that period, he wanted to leave a legacy behind. And in our areas, we've spoken about this before many times, they were all coral miners for hundreds of years, and that was their trade, that was their livelihood, the income generation. So there was no way that they would stop this practice. I mean, so many agencies tried, the police tried, the governments tried, nothing. But it was a very illegal kind of practice that was environmentally a disaster, and these guys, now we are talking about free diving now, but then these young boys of 16 years used to dive like 5 to 7, 8 meters, break the coral and bring all of them up in 2 minutes, and they didn't breathe. There was no apparatus or anything that they went under. So they broke the coral, brought it, and then they put into a kiln to burn and make this coating before you finally paint, like a primer. So nobody could stop this, and thankfully it's a tsunami that eliminated that kind of practice, which was, as I said, environmental tragedy. So that is also the reason why the tsunami hit our area so badly and went into about 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers, whereas subsequent research showed that wherever the corals were intact, there was breakwater resistance, and it went up to only about 500 meters. So we had to quickly find a way to resurrect them and provide some alternate livelihood. But that apart, so that's the tsunami, and I know when it struck, you were here. I can't remember how you heard about it, why you came here, how you landed here. I actually can't remember, because I've had thousands of them coming here at the time, but there is no way I could forget you. I've interacted you with for 1 year. So many came and left after 1 month, after 2 months, or after 2 weeks, so, but in your case, you just carried on, and you built that legacy of establishing a brush factory, thanks to Haley's at the time. And I think you worked with my brother-in-law, who was also in the Ravi brush. His name was Indrajit Fonseca. So the two of you got together and put this nice brush factory for villagers, and they are still after probably coming to nearly, let's say, 18 years or so, they are still working at the factory. They have taken the ownership. Foundation of Goodness only owns the land, and that kind of arrangement. But that's what I remember you for the most, and not very many have left lasting legacies behind that is still sustained for 18 years. So Nick, I know you came here, and you came here, you will tell me the background of the story, but before that, it is also my duty to praise, value, and appreciate what you did, because volunteering is priceless. Trust me, anyone can give money, right? Anyone can give of their knowledge, right? They can do certain things like lecturing or whatever the expertise they want to impart. But giving of your time is something truly, money cannot buy, because one thing is about, you can't relive it. Time is gone. So that 1 year you dedicated actually for the cause of humanity via the Foundation of Goodness. And of course you came to help the society, which is badly shaken, traumatized. But then when you look back, I'm sure you rejoice the self-worth you also experience, right? The compassion, the joy of giving, the art of generosity in that positive outlook, has been sensational. So not very many, actually. You and only two others that I remember who put in 1 year, but you were the first to establish that benchmark. So you will always be having a special place in our hearts, especially the Foundation of Goodness, and all the villagers know you as well, because when you spent 1 year at the time that you wanted to uplift all these people who were downtrodden and in real despair and going through miserable encounters. So I remember now when you come to volunteer, it's a luxurious life, because you stay in a nice villa, and it was not the time when you came. You had to just find whatever that is there. Sometimes there was food. The place was completely in disarray, so you just had to make shift where to stay. But you withstood all that, and that to me is even greater than someone coming now and doing something, because it was a time that we needed you badly. And here you are. So you come for the 25th anniversary with your lovely partner Jenny, and then it's like another homecoming. And I cannot thank you enough for being there on the 25th anniversary. That's a massive kind of enrichment or upliftment for us. Your presence was felt, and that my memory went back into so many years ago. But here you are, and thanks very much for being here. As I always say, gratitude is the best attitude. I want to salute you, applaud you for what you did, and no wonder Jenny got hold of you.
Thank you. Yeah, being here for the 25th anniversary is something I didn't want to miss. I'm incredibly proud of being small part of what you've been able to accomplish, and I'm incredibly grateful that I had the opportunity to work with you and learn from you and be around you, and then also be in this village with these special people. And to your point, I believe I got more out of the experience than the foundation or the people here, because it was just an amazing time for me. And I think it was a combination of your leadership, and the organization giving me an opportunity to do what we were able to do, and then also the people in this village and the people around, the Sinhalese people that were just incredibly welcoming and warm, and they took care of me as much as I took care of them. And so coming back and seeing all the familiar faces, it's beyond words. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, I mean, not very many people can keep coming back, and I think this is your third visit from that standpoint. And I think you forgot to mention how you found the Foundation of Goodness at work when you originally came.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So I had just finished getting my MBA in Australia, and I was working with a woman at a department store, just earning money before I moved back to America. And originally I was going to take two months and travel somewhere before I started my career. And I was working with a Sri Lankan woman who was familiar with Naresh.
Oh, no, Naresh Ratata.
Yeah. And so we were working together, and the tsunami hit, and just watching the devastation. And
not Ratata, but
no.
Another Naresh. And his sister was here today, right, Naresh?
Oh, yeah.
No. His sister was here.
I never met her sister.
Yeah, okay.
Her sister, I don't know. And so instead of going and traveling, I had an idea of could I do something? Could I help? And she connected me to Naresh, and Naresh connected me to Rashmini. And I started emailing Rashmini, and I basically said, I have an MBA, I grew up on a farm in Pennsylvania, I have some skills, I like to help, could I be of use? And Rashmini, if I remember correctly, said, we are sort of just getting started in rebuilding. I'm sure we could use you, but we don't know specifically what you can do right now. but if you have time and would like to come, we'd love to have you. And with that, I bought a plane ticket and flew out and sort of I think you picked me up from Naresh's mom's apartment and we came down, and that's when I still back then, that was March, about 2 months after the tsunami. It was still a very, you could tell it was the tsunami had just happened. It was still very in early stages of rebuilding.
Yeah, I mean, that time was very, very different from what it is now.
Oh yeah.
Because you had to literally, rebuild, so to say. I've seen at the same time when you were working, and I know you worked in so many different areas. Building the brush factory came as an afterthought later, when you realized that a lot of them were out of livelihoods. But as you came, I mean, I probably have seen you taking the wheelbarrow and collecting the debris and all of that.
The cleanup campaign was one of our first, one of the first projects that I managed, which was, I don't know, organizing.
USAID actually. USAID was involved
USAID.
in the first.
Yeah, I think we had teams of, 12 teams of 10 individuals, and it was actually accomplishing two goals. That was cleaning up the village and the surrounding villages, but also employing people, because at that time that was important to get people back on their feet, get them focused on the future or focused on getting themselves back up on their feet and not focusing on the despair or the things that were going on around them. So it was a combination of livelihood activity, but also getting the village cleaned up and the surrounding areas cleaned up so we could start rebuilding properly. And so that was the cleanup campaign, and then we dredged the canal. That was another project that I managed. And I think another thing that I was pretty useful in was when you or Rashmini were in Colombo. I was able to take some people around the village and show them the progress that we were making in real time, because at that time we had a lot of visitors that wanted to give some contribution or see the work we were doing or see the progress of the contribution they had made. And so I was able to I learned the how you talked about the things you went through and how we progressed, and I was able to mimic that. At least I thought I was able to mimic that and share some of the work we were doing.
I remember that time, because when we wanted to have a break, or not really a break, but when we had to stay in Colombo to entertain the bigger picture and accommodate, we were very confident that you were here, and then we could leave you in charge and then get to Colombo. But I remember it was so interesting, because one day it was one project, the next day it was another project. You're building houses, the livelihoods, children's welfare, women's empowerment, livelihood, sports activities. So many things were happening at different times, and it was going, from one to another.
Yeah, if you think about it, the world had never seen a disaster of that magnitude ever, and so a lot of funding was coming through. It wasn't the resources that were lacking. It was the organization and the ideas to put them into use. And I think the foundation was one of the few organizations that had the resources to do the work we were doing, to be accountable for the money that we were receiving and be productive with it. And so that naturally got us more funding and more resources, because they could trust us with the funds. And so it was an interesting time to be in an organization like the Foundation of Goodness, because of the newness of what we were all going through.
And I think also I felt that people saw this place as a happening place, where we used to make things happen. Rather than watch things happen. So when people came to donate, they saw this place as a buzzing place. I remember having set up in the front like a volleyball court and so many other activities going on. So people realize, hey, something is going on here, and why can't we also partner or collaborate? And then one thing grew to another, and that's how we kept going. And I remember, but at the same time, simultaneously building houses, and so many things were taking place, so we could go and actually show the donors as well. So looking back, I know after 2006 you came back again in 2014, 8 years after, and you then saw a completely different setup, and now you're seeing a little bit more sophisticated setup. So I think it's grown from one level to another, and that's I think in one sense it's progress, but on another is the sustainability aspect, where it's easy to actually put up things, but to sustain it into the long term is another.
Yeah.
So but every little helps, and I know how much you put in, and today those guys will come to see you and extend their gratitude. I don't know whether they actually got the message that you're here, because today was such a busy day, so maybe not, but somebody is going to leak out to, I think, Upul.
I saw Upul.
Upul
came. Gamini.
Gamini, yeah. But Gamini, I think, has gone overseas.
No,
if I'm not
he's here.
Yes, here. He's here. He's come back.
Came back to say hi. Yeah.
Okay. Did he say? Did he see you today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Upul is there as well, and
Yeah.
now, so they'll be very, very grateful for what you did, because then also they're making the brushes and then sending it to Haley's, and I don't know if they're doing it to other companies now as well. But in essence, this is an undertaking or an initiative that you can rejoice as you advance in years. Always, having come to the rescue of the people in our region, to give them a helping hand to, make them grow and elevate. I know it's a very sad tragedy that occurred, unprecedented, as we never knew what the tsunami was at the time. But since then, we have somehow found a way out to create this kind of backdrop, like a mini university, leaving a legacy as well as a tribute to all those who perished, whom we kind of respectfully recall having sacrificed their lives. So but it has also helped us to find a medium to bridge this urban rural divide and give them more opportunities. I mean, you saw that girl came today at the 25th anniversary, and she spoke the English little star, and she spoke English, and my heart broke, because I'm always after girls and boys at those ages to try and cultivate the English language, so those are two who are really trying very hard, and that girl in particular has a lot of talent to develop. She comes and does the Good News Radio, and we get her here, and she's not here today, otherwise she would have interviewed you, because she huh?
She's doing the program today.
Is she here?
Yeah.
So we should ask her to come.
No, just in Tamil.
Oh yeah. So we should have told her, because she has this knack of asking 3-4 questions, and she said, "Can I please ask 3 questions?" And it was very cute. So, but you'd have seen that kind of backdrop, and so it's been truly amazing to see the transformation as to what you've seen. I mean, I think every time, I know you're coming back, like first time again 8 years, and now I think in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have now grown even more island-wide. And
Yeah, I think that's
with a footprint that it's, on the one hand, as I said, it's not easy to sustain, but from another angle, we are actually elevating the standards of rural disadvantaged communities.
Yeah, it is amazing to see the transition, the progress. I think here in Sinigama was obviously our ground zero for the foundation. You perfected as close as you can the organization here, the Heartbeat Center here, Center of Excellence, and then the stage 2 is replicating it around the island. So 20 Heartbeat Centers now. It's incredible. And then I think stage 3 is sustaining it, which is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
But it works. So you have proof that you've got the numbers, the scoreboard, as you say.
Yeah.
and I think people will support that because they can see it working.
Yeah, I think word of mouth is the most powerful, marketing tool that I have experienced in my life. It's, you can do a lot of campaigns on social media, but that word of mouth endorsement, it's like, anything else, that if you find value for money and, let's say go to a restaurant, and the restaurant is great, attitudes are good, service is fabulous, and the food is tasty, value for money, all of that. But so like that, I think we've had a lot of repeat donors come through, from one to another, saying, what about Foundation of Goodness? I know of a lady who's coming to Sri Lankan origin. She's coming to actually volunteer for a month in the third week of January, and she told me she didn't know about the Foundation of Goodness. She's from England and she's Sri Lankan, so she wanted to come and work here, and she was like searching, but she hadn't got anything really good. So she called a friend of hers in America, and when she called and she said, I'm looking to go to Sri Lanka, she said, why are you searching? Just go to Foundation of Goodness. So then she connected with me, and now she's very happy to come in. So it's like the word of mouth. Not only in the volunteering, segment, but even in, like especially donations. People give donations, but they want, to see that their monies are well spent, made an impact, well utilized, and things like that. So, but having had all of you, working for a year and a few months or what have you, that's also a testament to the kind of partnerships we have built over the years. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support, your everlasting friendship, and that we kept in close contact, and so, and then we must hear also from Jenny, right? So Jenny hasn't been here for too long, but at least she came with you.
Yeah, she's excited.
Yeah, and she came here and she saw what was happening. But not that I'm not sure whether you got a very good insight to our activities in terms of the tour, because you didn't have time to do the tour. You went straight into the function. But what's your first impression?
Well, I've been in Sri Lanka now, I think, 35 hours. So I haven't seen much, but what I've seen, I'm blown away by. I think this foundation is outstanding. Like Nick has told me all of his stories, and now it's all coming to life, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the ceremony today was amazing. All of the kids and what they're doing, the dances, the music, the singing. But then when we went to the sports arena, that was really touching for me, because I grew up playing sports, and that was such an important part of my life and my values and everything that makes me me. And so seeing all the kids playing and being a unit and being a team, that's just so important to life and everything. So, and it's a beautiful country. We were going through the jungle, and I was like, wow, there's a field in the middle of the jungle. This is amazing. So what you guys have done is impressive, first of all, and just so just overwhelmingly beautiful.
And I think it'll also trigger in you, the empathy part. If you ever think of coming back to volunteer again with the two of you, to do something more special. But I know you have lots of friends and you go around. But more than that, also the fact that you'll get to tour, because you're also doing a tour, right? So you will see the country, because by and large there's a lot of tourists now coming to Sri Lanka, as it's always designated as top 5 countries to tour. But again, I'm going to see you during the tsunami 20th commemoration that's coming up. I can't even believe that 20 years have flown by just like that. And of course on the 20th it will be just the opposite. It's a solemn very spiritual kind of engagement, and people bring their emotions out on that day and to what they saw and happened, and how they lost their loved ones. So that's also gives a proper balance, so to say. And yeah, I mean, good to have you again, Nick, and this time with Jenny as well. But I'm sure, Jenny, now when you come back next time, or when I say next time, maybe the 26th or something, then you might be able to go around and see the sectors in progress, because it's nothing like seeing the different areas in this mini campus in operation. Mm-hmm. Then it triggers, it gives you a heartwarming experience, how these kids come, learn free of cost, and then keep going. And the good thing is they can do cross learning here. Like one of the ladies told me, she's done 9 courses at the Foundation of Goodness, including diving. She couldn't swim, but she dives now about 25 meters. So and she's very versatile, holistic kind of approach. So let's say she's done many courses at Women's Empowerment. She's gone to learn English. She's doing IT. She's done, I think, Tamil or linked languages, Tamil or Japanese. She's gone and played netball. So many different things she's done. So it's that aspect also is there here, and a lot of women's empowerment. And one of the things that we try to promote is the women in sports too, like you said, because that's something that also resonates with my life, as I did more sports than anything else. So yeah, it's a good outcome.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a special place for sure. And I'm grateful to be your friend, and I admire what you've done. I look up to you as a person. I think I love that we're still connected, and I can come back and you all treat me so well, and Jenny now, and it's an honor to be part of the organization and to be your friend, and I will help in any way I can help you sustain it. Yeah,
I mean, just besides you coming here, I think 3 times, I know every time when there has been a campaign for essential school supplies, you've never hesitated to donate. And I'm not the one to really ask for money as such, but seeing the plight of others in desperate need defines compassion. So that's also something that I've seen in you, because you believe in the cause, and that we try to act as transparently as possible. Accountability, good governance, surpassing donor expectations, and whatever. So I'm so pleased that you've come again, and I'm glad I got you into the good news segment. Didn't miss you out here.
Yeah, this is impressive.
So I think we are the only ones who have a good news radio probably in Sri Lanka, and we keep only talking about the good we do.
Yeah.
And then we get all these other beneficiaries, students here to come and talk about their journey and how they have benefited and what they would do to help others, and pay forward. And do some community aid work and whatnot. So it's such a pleasure, Nick, to have you and Jenny as well this time, and I'm really very pleased to see both of you. And I saw you engaging with Rashmi and Sudhat and building those bridges of friendship.
Yeah.
And making sure that you come there tomorrow.
I made lifelong friends here, and because you all are also, you're just great people, and so I'm grateful to be here, and I hope we can come back often.
Nick and I were just chatting by the pool earlier, and I asked him why he left, because he seemed so comfortable here, and he said it was the hardest thing he's ever had to do, and he cried. The day he left.
I remember actually. I mean, I've seen many. Nick, I know his heart, and I know, having worked with him very closely for 1 year, I know how we interacted. many times we went searching for food together and had rotis down in Ikkadua, and that brought me fond memories last night because I wanted to give you roti, and that's why when I was coming from Colombo, I got you down to. I was quite upset that you might not pick up my message and you're still sleeping, but you came there on time, and I think it's changed, heaps what we saw then and now. But it's really interesting times we had, and because at that time it isn't like, although in another way that it was very hard, you had no choice but to go with that flow.
Yeah.
But now you've got to maintain systems, the standards, the quality, the discipline, and the governance and everything. At that time, everything was in complete, in disoriented fashion. We were rebuilding, right?
Yeah.
So, we had some fun. And although we didn't have the infrastructure right, but we went down by the roads, we had a swim in the sea, whatever time, and, so it's really, the other side also was great, because there was so many other, like a brigade, like you said, like an army of volunteers, when we come out, you remember we had so many, foreigners, we didn't even know, and they were, having wheelbarrows and stuff like that. I've actually made 2 friends, who came to volunteer, but for a short stint, and they also keep coming back now, and they also got friendly because they were seen around in this area, doing things like what you did. It was amazing. And some of the, imagine 2,000 volunteers we've had in the last 20 years. So,
but I think that's because of all the work you do and the organization you have here. It allows someone to come in and plug in pretty quickly and feel good about what they did, as opposed to wandering around the country trying to find an organization or something to do. And it's a testament to the organization to have people keep coming back. And then, to your point earlier about word of mouth, someone says, I had a great experience at the foundation, you should go do it, and then you have another volunteer. And so I think it's just a testament to how well you operate, or the organization operates here.
Yeah, actually, you're talking about when you asked Nick, he was finding it very difficult to leave because he was having tears, and actually last week or week before we interviewed 2 of the boys, in their early 20s. They're studying to become cricket coaches in University of Worcester in England. And the both of them were here, and they were telling me that they were feeling homesick as they came, because both were originally they are born and bred in England, but one is from Pakistan, one is from India. So and they got on so well as well. And then when the time came for them to leave after 5 weeks, they were telling me it was so hard to leave these people and go, because the children were asking them to come home, have a meal, and all of that stuff. So they were really blown away. And these poor guys calling us to their home, wanting to share their meal, and it was like they were actually literally also in tears. And they said they definitely will come back. They have a long life ahead, in their early 20s. But this also brings a story to my mind. One day another English school came and helped, and they did sports, and on the eve of their departure, there was this very affluent, they came from an affluent background, so she was crying. So I went up to her and asked, why are you so emotional? And she said, look, we come from a very affluent background. We don't even know the neighbors, because they're all well-to-do. And I was playing sport with a girl, and when I go past her house, she's calling me to have a cup of tea and have half of a bun, and she was so blown away that somebody from that background is willing to care and share. And she was totally, very, very moved. And she said, this has given me a sense of, purpose in life and a meaningful kind of way forward. And she said she's going to do a lot more than she would have ever thought by coming here. It changed her completely lifestyle. And some of the parents have, said to me that they are no longer asking for the newest Nike or Adidas or Puma or Reebok or Calvin Klein or whatever. And they are, a lot more content than before.
Yeah, I can't imagine what I'll call ripple effect of what you're accomplishing here, the whole foundation, because of the visitors, of the generations of students that you're teaching, and the values that you're teaching. They're going to teach their children, and I think that's an immeasurable impact, which is the ripple effect that this will continue to have.
Yeah, so let's. We've spoken, I think, for about 45 minutes.
Did we do good?
Yeah, and I think we will. Patum, please get the the YouTube segment of our discussion. So, like how we share with the rest, and Nick can probably pass it on to his family, and probably plug it on the plane and replay.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and and as I say always, volunteering is really truly amazing, and something that everyone really must get involved in, because it shapes their life for better times, and truly priceless, because as I said, that the time that you expend cannot be relived, right? Unlike anything that you can get back. So from that standpoint, I salute you, I applaud you, and give heartfelt thanks for your brilliant work that cannot be erased. So very well done, my friend and Nick. So we will keep contact going forward for sure.
Yeah.
I know because of our busy schedules, we may not be in contact, but the moment we open that link, it does trigger, and so we are back in action, and so thanks very much for being here and coming back to Sinigama again. So Jenny, thank you for being here, and Nick, I think introducing Jenny to the Foundation of Goodness, and Sinigama is also very, very admirable and praiseworthy. Thanks very much indeed.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick and Jenny. ඒ වගේම කුශල ගුණසේකර මහත්මයාට ස්තුතියි. හරිම ලස්සනට කතා බහ සිදු කරගෙන ගියා ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍යයෙන්. ඉතින් එසේනම් අපි සූදානම් වෙනවා අද දවසේ Good News Radio segment එකත් අවසන් කරන ගමන්ම Good News Radio ත් අවසන් කරන්නට දැන් අපි වෙනද අවසන් කරන වෙලාවට වඩා ටිකක් ගිහින් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි අද දවස සුවිශේෂී දවසක් නිසා අපි හිතුවා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඒ අවස්ථාව අපි ලබා ගත යුතුයි කියලා. හොඳයි. එසේනම් සූදානම් ලබන සෙනසුරාදාත් ඔබව හමුවීමේ බලාපොරොත්තුවෙන් අදට සමගෙන යන්නට Good News Radio තුලින් හැමෝටම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා එළබෙන සතියන්තය සුබදායි සතියන්තයක් බවට පත් වෙන්නට. ඒ වගේම එළබෙන නව සතිය සුබදායි සතුටින් ගුණයහපත් කමින් පිරුණු සතියන්තයක් සහ සතියක් බවට පත් වෙන්න කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. හැමදේටම හොඳින් සතුටින් මුහුණ දෙන්න. එහෙනම් අපි ගිහින් එන්නම් ලබන සෙනසුරාදාත් ඔබව හමුවීමේ බලාපොරොත්තු සිතේ තබාගෙන. හැමෝටම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා සුබදායි දවසක. අයිබෝවන් ගුණෙන් ලැබෙන ජය ඉමහත් සතුටකි.
Goodness is the one investment that never fails.